Hello YouTube. Today I'm presenting my Lego phone stand design. It's really easy to put your phone on really fast, and it's very adjustable. You can adjust the roll side to side, quickly and slowly. It actually goes a full 360, but I'm not going to do 360 right now. And you can also adjust the pitch forward and backwards, either slowly like this or quickly like this. This is my own design. I've taken several years with little changes here and there, gone through more than 50 different designs, from little tweaks to really big changes. I made a video a few years ago that was a more primitive design of this, but it still worked. It only had the axis forward and backwards like this. It had a huge amount of friction, wasn't very quick to adjust. It just wasn't very good. So obviously I changed a lot of things, and now have my flagship design from January of 2019 is how recent this one is, but it's always undergoing changes. If you want instructions to build this, email me at the email listed below, and I'll send you the most recent version I have. I'm just going to basically go over basic features, what it can do, and why I made it, what it's good for, and stuff like that, and kind of how it works. This is an open source design. I'm not going to try to make any money from selling these. If you want to build your own, you can get the parts on BrickOwl or BrickLink for between $17 and $25 before shipping for all parts, including the shocks, which are the most expensive part. So yeah, all right. So it is fully ambidextrous. As you can see, it has a control on this side and this side to raise the phone gripper. To do the roll side to side, it has knobs that you can twist here and here. And you can also push back on this for the quick adjustment, which allows you to go 360. And then for this, you twist it to go forward and backwards, or you push it down to disengage the worm gear and go forward and backwards very quickly. You can also, with very moderate amount of force, not enough that the device would do it automatically, but you'd actually have to try to do it, you can push it back, causing the gear to force this down slightly, and it will skip just like this, and you can actually push it down quickly with one hand very easily. It's also easy to operate any function on this with one hand. I use it on a bed, so it's on a pretty unstable surface. So it has these long pins, these long axles out to the side for stability side to side. It also has these so that it won't lean forward even with a relatively heavy device. For when you like put it on your chest or something, you breathe in and out, it will want to fall forward, but this really prevents that from happening. So first, I'll take this off. This takes a pretty good amount of force to take off. It has never fallen off when I've dropped this. I've dropped this from as high as about 8 feet up, and the worst that's ever happened is it's pushed this axle in a little bit and caused this to happen, and then takes that much time to reset it. It's never broken a Lego, so I tried to design this so it would be very, like, solid. So there are no parts that can easily fall off on this, even with lots of wear, and it's been designed for practical use, so things like this were added just because it will eventually get loose if you don't add lots of fortification to the components. So this is the actual phone holder itself. This is the only rubber band operated part of this. The base, I used to have it be rubber band operated, but I changed the design. If you don't have these Lego shocks here and you really want to build one of these, just email me and ask for the rubber band version. I have the rubber band version as well. It doesn't look quite as nice, and it doesn't work as reliably, but it uses only rubber bands. You do need a shock back here, though. I haven't designed a rubber band version of this. So, actually, wait, no, I have. So, yeah, you can make one that uses completely rubber bands. If you email me, I can send it to you. I use the shock one because it's much better and a lot more reliable, and it also lasts longer, because the rubber bands wear out over time, they get weaker, and it doesn't feel as good. So this holder uses rubber pieces that grip onto the phone, so it has a very solid grip on the phone, and the phone won't fall out. Even after doing this, you can see it's still in there completely. But it's very easy to remove the phone, and it doesn't put any pressure on the phone. It also allows you to easily access the buttons on the side of the phone without any obstructions. This is an old phone. I'm using my newer phone to take the video. The new phone I have has a button in the back That's the one weakness of this thing is you can't really access a button in the back if it only has an on button in the back. But you can double tap the screen of this phone and turn it on, so it doesn't really matter anyway. So it took quite a while to design this. I used to just have it so it was just rubber band pull. You have to push it up or pull it up like this to put the phone in, but I decided I wanted to be able to do it with one hand, so I made something that you can just push down and it would open. This took several hours to perfect this design, but it uses a lever system here. It's ambidextrous, of course, to allow you to raise this up a significant amount. So because of the size range of this, it will hold anything from, with slight modification, and I have other versions of this, like this one and this one. With just this one itself, it will hold anything from an iPhone 4 with a case, with a small case, to a very, very large phone, like a OnePlus 6 with a Unicorn Beetle case or something like that. Just a very large phone. I also have different versions like this one that's actually made for holding a Nintendo Switch or a small tablet, and I'll show this one later. And just for this video, just now I designed this one, which is specifically to hold an iPhone 4 without a case, an iPhone 4 or 5 without a case, and it's ridiculously small, but this can actually hold anything, almost anything as small as a flip phone even, on its side, which you don't really deserve to have one of these stands if you have a flip phone, let's be honest here. But alright, let's keep going. So that's this. So it uses the Lego silicone band. It can use any rubber band, and with these two things here, it's very symmetrical and centered, so it will pull straight up or straight down. It doesn't really try to cant off to the side too much. It does a little bit, but I installed these to correct for that. So that's good there. And then this can actually be used without rubber pieces, but you can't achieve the same angle with the same amount of grip on the phone as with the plastic pieces as you can with rubber pieces. So this will really hold onto the phone without actually having a very strong rubber band back there. Whereas plastic pieces, which right now I'm using a phone stand, to take the video, and I have one that just has plastic on there because I ran out of the rubber ones, but it works just fine. So you don't need these rubber pieces. These are one of the rarer pieces on this. So next, this particular one, this is the one I personally use, has a turntable gear for one of the axes of rotation. So this attaches to the turntable gear, and as you can see, it uses a worm gear, so I can turn this full 360 quickly like that, or slowly like this from either side. And then down here has a similar system. It has a worm gear where you press down on this and it disengages it from the worm gear completely, or you can turn the worm gear with this knob, and it's very accurate and smooth adjustment, and you can get any angle you want. And again, you can push it down like this too. Doesn't really add any wear to the worm gear. I've been using this same worm gear for a very long time and haven't noticed any wear whatsoever. So this design uses shock absorbers to absorb the force of this, and as you can see, it very effectively makes this rebound. And because this isn't flat like this, straight, because it's actually upwards ever so slightly, it takes away any slop in the gear, so this can't move back and forth at all, and it can even hold heavier devices without having any gear slop whatsoever. And then back here, this shock absorber makes this have a nice, quick, snappy action, and it returns very nicely, and it doesn't require much force to actually push. And same with this one. So this, with this put back on, this is my standard setup. So to use it, I usually just lay the phone on here, and then push down on this, and then it's on, just that fast. Then take out a phone, you can just pull it out like that, or you can push down on this and pull it out like this. Another detail, this here, this phone here with this case, nothing protrudes from here at all. There's no protrusion of cameras or anything like that because of how LifeProof made their case. This new phone I got right here, the camera juts out a little bit. So I actually, even before getting the phone, changed my design of this so that the parts that move back and forth are exactly half a brick spacing between the plane that the phone rests against and the actual side. So this won't scratch anything. It doesn't make contact with the phone, but it gives plenty of room for a finger to get in there very easily. So this is my standard setup. This is, again, pretty drop-proof. Actually, it really doesn't break, which is nice. What usually happens is, no matter how it falls, something will like flex and then absorb the force. Usually, it absorbs the force with the shock absorber. Actually, funny enough, and then it will rebound up, and at worst comes to worst, either something gets pushed slightly, or the bushings here will loosen. That's the only problem this ever has. So it works really well. So now for some other stuff. So this, if I take off this piece here, I can actually remove this entire axis, this entire section, and just break it down, you know, kind of make it naked. Just just have the base here, and actually convert it over. So I'm going to take away that axis of rotation and just put on a stationary axis. This allows it to bear more weight, and if you're doing something like carrying, I made a holder for my roommate who has a Nintendo Switch. I made one of these for him, and that's why I have this larger holder too. But that axis just isn't necessary for something like a Nintendo Switch. So I changed that piece over. Still fully compatible, of course. Now I have this here. This, while itself being bigger, can hold a much bigger device. It uses the same system with that rubber band, and then the things that you push, and then having the rubber grips here. Goes on the same way. It can also go onto the turntable. If you have a massive phone and you want to use that turntable, it works just fine with the turntable also. But this is the setup for Nintendo Switch. So now I can actually put the Switch on there, attach it just the same way, and move this up and down, very, very fine adjustments just like this. So, as you can see, I can get a very exact adjustment. If I want it to be right there or right there, I can just twist it a little bit, or I can go quickly like this. You need to support it when you're going quickly, but I can go quickly like that. So this can go anywhere from actually being well past horizontal, or well past vertical, so it can actually be canted forward quite a bit, to being a little bit past horizontal. So this has, from what I've measured with like a level on my phone, it has about 115 degree freedom. And of course you can adjust this, and then now it doesn't have that axis in the back. But it's very strong, and it can easily hold this. And as you can see, this isn't even shaking like almost at all, despite the weight of this. So this one is, this holder is designed for small tablets, switches, gigantic phones. If you have a phone this big, you're definitely not carrying that in your pocket. And if you are, you're stretching out your pocket. But yeah, so that's this holder here. This is going to be the first time I've ever attached this new, ridiculous-looking tiny holster. Well, holder. That just looks silly to me right now. This is for a little iPhone 5 my roommate has. Holds that pretty well. I ran out of the rubber grips, so not using rubber grips on this one, but as you can see, it doesn't take much time or effort to modify these the holder to work with something else. Of course, I can take this off and reinstall the extra turntable axis pretty easily. Doesn't need to be easy, because you know, you probably won't be doing this. You'll just build whatever one you need for the specific device you have, but I can install this in about 30 seconds or so. Hopefully I'm not going to eat those words later when I look at how long it actually took. Yeah, not too long. So something like this, I can, because of this new holder, it's kind of off-center, but with the normal holder it's pretty centered. But as you can see, I can make it any angle I want. I can do it very finely with this, or just slap that back and move it really fast, like this. This will interfere with certain phones. Well, if the phone is at certain angles, it will interfere. But an easy solution to that is just to put the phone in like that. Instead of having it be centered, you can switch it off to the side there, and then you can go much further this way before this interferes. So now I can get this phone just like this, and I don't really have much space on my backdrop. And as you can see, I can very smoothly adjust the camera too by twisting this knob. That's what I just did, is I just twisted this knob slowly like that, and made a nice little smooth transition on my camera. And I can also, on this one I don't have the roll being this direction, I don't have that attached, but as you can see I have a lot of options with this. So if you decide you want to build this, again, send me an email, and I'll send you the most recent version. So this video, so on like a Lego Digital Designer or LDraw file, which I can send you either one, this won't, it won't have the rubber bands, so this video will show you how to put the rubber band in. But this is my design. If anybody tells you different, they're wrong. Taken a few years designing this, so this video will, prove it was me who designed it, of course. Yeah, so please email me if you want to make one, and if you like this video, hit like. This is my first real YouTube video, and thanks for watching. Just before I go, I'm just gonna quickly put that on like that. Really, when I'm using it and I put it on, I do it like that. Like, it takes me a fraction of a second. As I'm going down, I basically hit down like that, and it just instantly goes in. I usually try to get it pretty centered like this. I have a larger phone now. It grips it very easily. I measured the size range of this between basically an iPhone 4 with a case and pretty massive. So the maximum height of this is all the way up to here. So past a iPhone 6 with a LifeProof case, it can go about a 1/4 inch. So that will encompass almost any phone out nowadays. So again, pretty versatile. Alright, I'm starting to pander a little bit, so again, if you want to make one of these, send me an email. If you send me an email asking for the instructions, I really hope you'd also hit like. If you look on my channel, you can see the earlier version that I have of this. It's pretty crappy. Yeah, thanks for watching.